Oh, hey, didn't see you standing there. I was just reading LinkedIn Profile Optimization for Dummies. Great book, and not just because I'm quoted in here. My name is Mike Lloyd. I run a multi-six-figure boudoir studio in Silicon Valley, California, and I love teaching photography. I've been doing that for 10 years. I am also a certified judge for the Professional Photographers of America. So I've been trained how to do these, and I've judged competitions all over the country. I really enjoy doing this because the kind of education you receive in a photo critique or competition is invaluable. You get to learn how to improve your craft and how others can improve theirs, which then translates to how you can improve yours by watching somebody critique an image. And this isn't to say whether an image is good or bad. This is, okay, here's what you were trying to achieve. Here's the technique that you used. Here's how you can do it better. Here's what you've already done well. Here are tweaks you can do to improve your photography. It is constructive, and that is super important. So I'm gonna pick through a few different images and give you my feedback on the techniques used, what they did well, what they could do better. And at the end, I'm gonna tell you how to submit your own images so that you can get feedback on your work as well. Let's dive in. All right, so I don't mind cropping through the forehead. I do that in a lot of my photos, and I feel like a lot of my clients don't like it. But to me, it's an artistic thing. So I usually shoot crop to the forehead like that, and then I'll shoot above the forehead. And once in a while, some people will go with the ones that I like, but it's not for me. I do some of those for me, and I do some of those for them. And they usually buy the ones that are for them. I love the lines in here. I love the sharpness of things. To me, the eyes seem a little processed. Like the white in the eye, grab my little marker tool, like right in here, this eye more so than the other one, it looks like it was brightened, like masked off and whitened, and it doesn't quite look natural along the eyelid. That could just be the way it's rendering on my screen though. I do like the grain in the image also. I think it goes well with the black and white. And I think stylistically, I would want to make a selection of the background here and do like a surface blur, especially over here, and blur it out so that it doesn't look like carpet. That is my preference. I mean, obviously it was shot on carpet, but I think that's part of the magic of photography is if you can make it not look like it was just shot on the carpet, that could be a really powerful element for your client. I love the lines. Her face is just way too far into the bottom of the frame. Again, I'd want to keep this on a third over here and move the center of her face into that part of the frame. I love the lines from the hair. It looks like it's just cropped way too tight. And I don't know if you ran out of space when shooting this, because I know you're working with a really limited space from all the photos that we've talked about in the last few months. Yeah, her face is just way too crammed down there in the bottom. But otherwise, I love the lines. I love the concept. Digging the lighting style. Obviously, I'm a little partial to this. Okay, so I love the lines. The hair looks fantastic with this kind of side lighting. I like that she's holding on to the heels here. Great arch in the back. I like that there's separation on this side of the body. Again, it is so soft focused. It's almost like she's glowing. Like I can see a glow all the way around the highlights here. Again, it feels like 90s glamour shots. And I feel like I know what you've been shooting well enough to know that this doesn't feel on brand for you. And if you're changing to go that direction, then that's amazing. Don't let me discourage you. It just feels so different from what you usually produce. I'd be curious to chat with you after to find out why you went in this direction. But I love the lines. You've got a good triangle here. It's very well balanced. I like that we can't see the background because I'm sure there's like furniture or a wall right there. Yeah, I think if you just brought that clarity back up and didn't quite soft focus this so much, it'd be super sharp. So I love the concept of this one. I think it's composed well. It's balanced well. I love the expression. The flow of the arm to the chest right here is like one solid straight line. And it took me a minute of looking at this photo to figure out what was happening. Same thing with the hard 90 of this arm over here, where the hand kind of disappears. That to me, like there are just too many hard right angles in this photo for the soft feminine feel that it looks like you were going for. So bringing this elbow out a little bit more so it's more acute. You know, maybe bring this arm out the other way instead. I know that's a 90, but I'd go, you know, just so you don't have this really hard line right there competing with her face. But just great expression. I love that. I think the furniture here frames it really nicely. There's some interesting highlights over here. I'm not sure what's going on with those or what they are. That's kind of distracting. Yeah, I'd want to see those fingers and the arm moved back just a little bit. Same. You could probably even just darken this down so that it's not competing with her face and her chest right here. But I love the expression otherwise. Okay, so the first thing I see is all the white down here. And to me, that takes away from our subject. I know that was probably, you know, partner's work shirt or something like that. So totally cool. I think also she's a little off to the right, not totally centered and down low. So the weight to me of the image feels down in the bottom corner. And it makes the image feel bottom heavy, especially because we're cropped right above the knees right here. I want to see more space down below so that the image is more balanced. I love just the little bit of shirt falling off the shoulder, a little bit of sexiness popping through. I think that's great. I'm digging the background also. It's nice and out of focus, but it still adds some depth back there, which is great. And I love the expression. I love having my clients look down and close their eyes like that. It's one of my favorite things to do. And just not related to this image, but I'd have them do that. And then I'll have her look up at the camera without moving anything, and then look directly at the camera, and then look down the other shoulder. And then you can get like 6 or 7 different positions just by moving, or different photos by moving her chin and her eyes around here. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is how much weight this part of the image carries, and it's down in the bottom corner and then cutting through the thighs right here. We're not getting the taper of the form, and so it feels kind of blocky with all the weight here. So yeah, being able to crop out a little bit more, having some more space, and either keeping her centered or on a third would really help balance this photo out. But I like the skin smoothing. It's not too soft. There's still detail in the hair. Hair looks fantastic. Hands are nice and soft. This one you could turn in just a little bit. I know it's hard when you're doing this particular pose and like the way the cuff is blocking most of her hand there. In scenarios like this with this kind of shirt, I'll roll the cuffs back a little bit so that you don't have these hard cuffs where her hands are getting lost. Especially when the shirt, it looks like it's pretty well starched. I mean, you can see the creases in it. And so it's very reflective with hard lines. All right. Okay. So my first place I go is right here, which to me seems like where you want the viewer's eyes to go, because it feels balanced. The hands look fantastic here, nice and soft. I love the expression. The hair looks great. The makeup artist did a killer job. The way that her weight is rocked onto this hip, though, we lose all of her leg, we lose all of her side, we lose all the curve down this side of her body. So instead, if you were to bring her weight to the other side, it'll drop this cheek down a little bit and make it not seem higher up than her shoulder blade. And so you'll have the shoulder drop down and then rise up again for this cheek and then flow up her leg. And it'll be a little more flattering position there. Also, bringing this knee out a little bit will help accentuate this curve in here, as opposed to totally losing the leg right there. But I think it's great that you've got the ankles focused. Everything is nice and out of focus over here. The screen is changing, it keeps the background from being too white. I think if it was all negative space, the image would feel really heavy over here, but this helps balance it out for sure. I think the lighting's great. Yeah, it's just rocking the weight back to that other hip and or bringing this knee out to accentuate this curve right here would make a huge bit of difference in this photo. Also, it looks like she's a little hunched right here, like she's holding herself up on this arm. So again, shifting her body weight the other way will help bring some weight to this arm that's covered up. And I always tell my clients, like, stick your arm out. Don't put any weight on it. It's really just there for show, because I don't want any weight on this shoulder, because then it makes it bulge out. It flexes the deltoids up there. And unless my client is really into fitness and bodybuilding, they don't want to see bulging muscles anywhere.
Well, that was a good one. I hope you learned a ton from that, and I am stoked to get your images on this show also. So send them to mike@boudoirguild.com. I'll put the link down below. You can send me as many images as you like. You can remain anonymous if you want as well. I just ask that you don't put a big annoying watermark on your photos, because I'm certainly not going to be stoked with that. So send anything my way. I would love to include them in the photo critiques. And if you want to know more about lighting, posing, composition, editing, all the things, I have so many other great videos on this channel, or over at boudoirguild.com. You can deep dive in some intense learning videos over there. You are amazing. I'll see you inside.